Hello, hello. The Three Stooges which I used to sneak watch as a child. It was forbidden. And as soon as my mother was out the driveway or wherever, on it would go. And it started out, hello, 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 hello. It was Curly who was my favorite. Anyway, it's a thing. If you haven't seen them, they're sort of awful and wonderful. And Curly's the best. Yeah, I broke my the frame to my usual glasses, so I'm using these, and the prescription is a little off. So I may be putting them on and off because it's just a little weird. But so if you see me, that's why. Today I woke up with it's an adage, grief is love with no place to go. And I think there's a stage in grief where that's the case. And part of the healing is finding out where to put that love. And I think very often it's in self-comfort and self-care and self-love. As you work through the grieving process, you kind of have yourself as your guide to get through it. Higher self. And it reminded me of, there's a scene in Out of Africa, which is a good movie. I really like it, although there's some casting questions that plague me. But one of the great lines in it, Meryl Streep is trying to establish a coffee farm in Africa, and her husband has basically ditched her, so she's left to try to do it alone. And she has the people on the farm who work for her, who are the native people. It's in South Africa. She's from Denmark. So she says, divert the river to water the coffee plants. And the people who live there say, it won't work. This river lives in Mombasa. You can't. And she said, I'm the boss. Let's divert the river. So they do. And then eventually they've sandbagged everything, and it's a breach, and she has her workers filling burlap bags with sand to shore up this thing, and they're working like mad, even though they know it's not going to work. But they're trying their best. And finally she says, oh, screw it. This river lives in Mombasa. Give it up. And they let the water breach the sandbags. And it's sort of like, there's the flow. It's something about your love knows where it needs to go. And you can shore it up and try to redirect it back to the grief, back to the person you've lost, whatever it is. But eventually, the water, the feelings breach that dam, that artificial thing that you put up saying, I want the feelings to go here. So it's sort of a letting go of control. It's a sort of turning point in the movie, which is based on a book by Isaac Dinesen. Her pseudonym, she was Karen von Blixen. It's it's Meryl Streep, and she's brilliant. So maybe grief is love, trying to find the place to go. We've just had new moon in Gemini. I don't really know what that's about. I'm not an astrologer, but I think it's sort of revisiting how we connect with people. You know, who we consider our friends, our lovers. And what do you do when you lose somebody like that? When grief has no place to go? The love inside will, okay, not sure what to do here. Okay, we start off with, this is grief with no love, with no place to go. That's exactly, this is 5 of Cups. It's the widower card. It's the person who is deep in loss. There's love there, right behind them, but they're focused on the love lost. They can't move yet. They're in grief. And I sort of look at this as like the 5 stages of grief. I don't even know if there are technically 5 or, you know, there are many stages of grief, and this person is processing it still. It's for now, it's immobilized them. Grief, love that has no place to go. Lovers, I just talked about the new moon in Gemini and a new way of loving. This is the card of Gemini, the card of the twins, the lovers. So it may be a loss of a really important relationship. Somebody with whom you felt a soul connection, and they're gone. Apparently gone. Tell us more, please. It's 5 of Cups and a 6 major arcana, so there's like a on the right path progression. What's happened to this lovers? This lovers. I'm just going to move my notes out of the way here. King of Cups. Well, not necessarily a masculine. You know, both this card, to me, the Cups, King of Cups, King of Swords, has a flavor of the person who's deep in this energy but not fully comfortable in it. Like the King of Swords, it should be about communication and you know, clarity. And often King of Swords has trouble with communication. King of Cups is very loving and open and heart-centered, and yet has some trouble with that energy in themselves, feels the need to protect themselves because they feel so deeply. The song that was in my head this morning was that this passenger, you only know you love her when you let her go. And you let her go. Something about that. Knight of Pentacles. A slow return. Or slow forward movement. Perhaps to heal this 5 of Cups loss. Slowly rebuilding something. 9 of Cups. In that feeling energy of Cups, of connection and love. This is a 9. This is what makes you happy. Self-love. Sometimes it's looked at as a card of indulgence. Like maybe somehow indulging in your grief. Or allowing it to swamp you. But I think what's slowly coming in is a renewed sense of your own heart and what makes you happy. You know, you're sort of steering, somebody is steering, turning around back into life, back into the possibility of a Two of Cups connection. And it starts with your own fulfillment, your own happiness. Like, first go through the stages of grief to arrive at this place of satisfaction. I'm not quite getting the right word for it, but it's coming into your own, coming back into your own. Wow. Okay. Under Lovers, we have Page of Cups. An apology, perhaps, for whatever situation sort of fell apart. Maybe a soulmate. Apologizing, perhaps, for this devil energy, which can mean an array of things. It can be living in extremes. Devil speaks to extremes, some sort of imbalance, power imbalance. Something that holds you back and blocks love from your life. Even your own sadness. Perhaps it's something about being indulgent about your own sadness. It may be something you need to detach from. And it might feel like you're betraying somebody to detach. I'm not getting toxicity off of this, but I am getting what holds you back. Six of Pentacles. Earth energy. Under Knight of Pentacles, the slow movement toward perhaps an equilibrium, an adjustment of the scales, that what was in lack is now getting some sort of help in real terms, in real time. Real emphasis there. Earth energy, that what shows up in your life. Bottom of the deck, strength. Over and over again, I'm getting this Leo time message. In the height of summer, coming into your own, healing the hurt. On Five of Cups, that makes a lot of sense, because it's having the courage to face life again. It's finding some place to put your love. Having the courage to go out and love after you've experienced something that puts you in like widower energy. I've lost that main connection. On Lovers, we have Five of Wands. This is a conflict, a struggle. It can be internal. It's another five. 5 and 5, 10. 10 in Major Arcana is Wheel of Fortune, moving out of that phase. It's not like moving out of it, lickety-split, suddenly, boom, one day I'm out of grief. And this I'm getting is almost like the dams that Meryl Streep was trying to use to divert the river. And eventually couldn't be held back. It's a 5 to the 6. 5 of Wands to the 6, Major Arcana, Lovers. And again, the Major Arcana are the trump cards. They're the strongest energies. They're the underlying energies at work that inform our everyday life. Strength, Lovers. On King of Cups, we have Star. That's brilliant. Aquarian energy of wishes granted, healing. This King of Cups could be a water sign. You know, has experienced a healing sort of from on high. They're guided to the place. And as you can see, it's a source. It's a water source. It's kind of like this individual could be an Aquarius. Is drawing from that inexhaustible well and kind of using it to bring feelings back. On Knight of Pentacles, Hierophant, card of Taurus, earth energy, and as is Knight of Pentacles. This is slow movement toward a higher level of commitment, a marriage. Toward being able to believe in your higher power again. And it's telling you to move forward, albeit slowly. I mean, going through those stages of grief cannot be rushed. It can't. You do it step by step. You know, in your daily life, putting one foot in front of the other and making slow but steady forward progress. And this is kind of like the higher self. Remember I said your self is there for you in grief? That self that can comfort you because it can channel the balm, the love medicine from the source. Chariot on Nine of Cups. Finding your own happiness and fulfilling as best you can, it's a softening energy. It's like, I find love in my life. I personally, Nine of Cups. Card of Cancer. That same water energy is a card of victory. It's a card of having overcome something like strength. Facing your feelings. You know, not trying to avoid the grief, but feeling them. Feeling the feelings, all of them. The good and the bad, the white and the black, all these apparent opposites are under one canopy of like, I can feel it all. And when I do, I can move forward. Move forward. This is on Six of Pentacles. We have Four of Pentacles. The card of holding back or blockage. It's adjacent to the card of Devil, which is a heavily grounded earth energy of something, an attachment perhaps you need to let go of. And it's sort of like hanging on to what's left. You know, almost not wanting to go through the stages of grief. Because that sadness is what you have left. I get that message a lot in these stories. Like feeling it would be a betrayal of the thing you've lost and loved to let go. And it's blocking you from further connections and possibly from something that's equal give and take here and now in this life. also very curious about the devil energy. Not always a bad thing to be able to work with what you need to let go of, to do the shadow work. Hangman, another water energy card of deep consideration, of non-movement, devil energy, a stuck something. But this is gleaning an understanding. You're in that stuck place. You're not moving anywhere. And there's a feeling of sacrifice off of this. Sometimes hangman can mean that. So it's sort of like on that level of the psyche where there was an attachment that was blocking you and blocking the love from knowing where to go. A card, also major arcana, on devil, of taking the lesson from that, being on pause and in a kind of chrysalis state to deeply consider feelings, not from a Aquarian overview, but from sort of not the underview, but getting a new perspective, certainly, on what's held you back. And you do it through feeling it deeply. On Five of Cups, Page of Pentacles. So there may be an apology for somebody being left out in the cold, or for a decision that left both parties in separation, out in the cold. Another 5. So it has to do with the grief and the loss. On Page of Cups, and it may be like when love comes back, it comes back tentatively at first. It's not a wash. It's an invitation. The 7 of Pentacles. What does this yield me? I've spent so much time. I've invested ages and a bootload of energy. And it's sort of like stepping back and considering, what have my efforts yielded? Emperor. This is sort of big boss energy, divine masculine. You may have invested, somebody may have invested in him. And the next card, 7 of Swords, which is the card of exiting a situation perhaps strategically, not in an above-board way. Very different from 7 of Pentacles energy, investing for real. I'm getting absconding, because this person is taking these swords and sneaking away with them in a kind of a it's like guerrilla, in the sense of the fighter who pops out and it isn't on a battlefield where it's coming and so forth. This is the guerrilla warrior. That I do not get. Next card up, Wheel of Fortune. Well, there it is. We had talked about the 2 5s equaling 10 is wheel in major arcana, is the positive forward movement. And it's something about the Emperor could be an Aries, male or female, but somebody who wants to be in control, perhaps of themselves, because they have had kind of two approaches. One is to invest, the other is to book it. They want to take control of that and move forward. And it seems to me that the forward-moving way is more likely to be a Seven of Pentacles investing way than a getting out of a situation way. But perhaps not. Let's get just a little bit more on that. I'm working with the double deck, right? That crazy blend of... It's a crazy blend of the Rider-Waite, two decks blended together. So I get clarifiers without even having to flip for it. Wheel of Fortune. Things are moving, and they're moving forward as they should from the perspective of that, the over-I, the higher self, Hierophant star, being guided to where you need to be. Not need to be, where you belong. It's your destiny, you know, your karmic destiny, twice over. So I need to peek in a little bit. What are we being, oh gosh. King of Cups. We saw him up here, clarified by star. Another card of destiny. Wishes granted, being led to where you belong. And it might be that the Emperor invested a long time in a situation that he's now getting out of. Not in a completely above board way. He doesn't want to be seen. But perhaps that sneaky, and it's in a planning stage, it's a strategy because it's sword energy. Planning an exit. And it will accelerate, it will kick the wheel, it will move the wheel forward, Wheel of Fortune, twice. For both parties. So the Emperor will express in everyday life, he will show up as the Queen, as the King of Cups. Doesn't really, it's not about gender, so Queen, King. But this is somebody who is taking control of it and stepping into their karmic destiny, even if they have been in kind of a widow energy, thinking there's too much conflict, I won't find my match. But they proceed on step by step, Knight of Pentacles, toward this, I think it's a marriage. Yeah. And there may be a decision, how do I get there? You know, which path? And how do I begin this journey? I'm hearing the journey begins with one step. You know, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Page of Wands. There's a decision that needs to be made in terms of which way, the direction, Wands. And this is, you know, somebody who's picked up the wand and said, yes, I will head in a new direction. Perhaps away from my sadness, having, Hangman, processed my emotions about this, understood what was holding me back, Devil, and impeding my, the dam that I'd made to block the river and redirect it over here. And it couldn't hold. Another repeat. The second card out, strength. The overcoming of the sadness, the Five of Cups. And again, it's sort of in Leo time. Both the Two of Wands and the Page of Wands and the Five of Wands are a fire energy, and so is strength. Twice over, strength. Both parties have overcome their sadness. And I don't know if it's a new relationship where two people come together who both have had to overcome their grief and process it and work through it in order to be able to move forward. And either themselves are strategizing how to stop investing in one thing, get out of it, or they're finding a new path after somebody they loved and invested in booked it on them. Not sure which. A card of Virgo, the Hermit. This is getting the wisdom from your higher self. In isolation, getting the enlightenment. And there's just one more, and it's Magician. It's how to bring in and manifest what you want. And you've got all the tools because you've discovered what makes you happy. And that's what you want to manifest. You want to manifest this emotional alignment into your life. You've done the work. So, you're not manifesting like, give me this, give me that, whether it's good for me or not. This is like, I don't know where this voice comes from. That's the voice of the, I don't know, the wisdom. Into the light. This card it's a lovely card, and it is a card of light. Hermit carries a lantern. But this is like the big light. The light of Leo. The card of healing and compassion for yourself. The card of a unique relationship in which these two get strength from each other, and there's the infinity symbol above her head. It isn't a flash in the pan. It may appear kind of poof into your life, but it's entailed a lot of work. Pentacles work. Hard work. Slow work. But having done it, in it pops. In something pops. The new path, the new way into this brightness. It's dazzling. It's dazzling. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. 2 Wheels of Fortune, 2 cards of strength, 2 King of Cups. You might want to be on the ready to hear from and accept and offer perhaps an apology from a water sign who has really matured from Page of Cups. At that point, perhaps there was a left out in the cold aspect, but they're coming in matured. They've been through changes, Wheel of Fortune, and so have you. They've graduated to Emperor. This is a card of Virgo, Gemini. This is a card of Virgo. I think Virgo is doing the manifesting, but both people have done the work. Hangman work, deep consideration, a delving into the feelings over what am I passionate about, devil, and so passionate may have held me back. You know, I got stuck in sadness, kind of mistaking it for loyalty. I have to hang on to the sadness. But to have compassion for yourself and the other person, twice over strength. It's like be fortified to work through your stages of grief. There are things ahead for both of you. It's destined. I'm sorry, it's destined. I don't know why I say I'm sorry, but there's almost this sense of like, I don't, you know, leave me in my grief. I'm not done. I suddenly thought I had a hair sticking out. It's a family trait. We all have cowlicks, and we all tend to get, boing, here's its little cowlicks that stick up like alfalfa. If you don't know the Three Stooges, you're not going to know who alfalfa is anyway, but it's a show called Our Gang. I have a feeling this is an old relationship. And maybe between two people who are along in their years, and they've spent a lot of time processing grief. And now it's time to come out. Again, perhaps in Leo time. It's destined. You know, you can try to fight your fate. You can try to fight where the river's going to go. You can dam up the feelings. But eventually, the river goes where it needs to go. Star card. You know, that's, I'm hearing bringing it home. Let the river go where it needs to go. A lot of cup energy in this, a lot of water energy, river flow energy. Love has a place to go. And it's going there. It's destined. I think this is a great read. It bodes well. It really does. Again, these affirmations of forward movement, of love embodied, of overcoming, of compassion. You've worked through the grief steadily, and so has somebody else. And it's going to allow for this chariot coming together for forward movement, because you're both aligned. You're both ready to step in. And it's like destiny will welcome you, and the wheel will move forward. The chariot will advance. I'm getting the big shivers. That's a good thing. Coming back to life. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, share. If you can share it. There's a little share button. If you know somebody else who might benefit from hearing this, it's like just spread it. Send it down the line so that somebody else can take part. Thank you guys. See you next time.